October 8, 1944, northern France. A narrow dirt road cuts through dense woodland 20 kilometers west of the German border. The trees are tall. The canopy is thick. The road is shadowed even at midday. The air is still. 3 American soldiers lie concealed in the undergrowth on both sides of the road. Their positions form a U shape. The open end faces east. The closed end faces west. Rifles are aimed at the center of the killing zone. Machine guns are sighted on overlapping fields of fire. Grenades rest within arm's reach. No one moves. No one speaks. Eyes track the empty road. A staff sergeant crouches behind a thick oak tree on the northern side. He holds a green flare pistol in his right hand. His left hand rests on his knee. His eyes are fixed on the bend in the road 50 meters to the east. He does not blink. He does not shift position. The flare pistol remains pointed at the ground. The road is empty. The forest is silent. The ambush is set. The men wait. The unit is a reinforced rifle platoon from the 28th Infantry Division. They have been operating in the area for 6 days as part of a broader push toward the Siegfried Line. Their mission is to interdict German supply routes and harass rearguard elements withdrawing eastward. Intelligence reports indicated increased traffic along this particular road at irregular intervals. Convoys, small patrols, messengers. The road connects 2 villages held by German forces. The platoon was ordered to establish an ambush position and engage targets of opportunity. They moved into place before dawn. The site was chosen for its natural advantages. The road narrows here. Visibility is limited by the curve. Escape routes are minimal. The forest provides concealment and cover. The terrain favors the defender. The soldiers dug shallow fighting positions during the night. They camouflaged themselves with branches and leaf litter. They positioned the 2.30 caliber machine guns to create interlocking fire across the road. Riflemen filled the gaps. The bazooka team took position on the southern flank to engage any armored vehicle. The sergeant established himself at the center of the northern line with clear sight lines to both ends of the road. The plan is simple. When the enemy enters the kill zone, the sergeant will fire the green flare. The signal will trigger simultaneous fire from all positions. The ambush will close in seconds. The enemy will have no time to react. Standard doctrine. Standard tactics. The platoon has executed similar ambushes 3 times in the past 2 weeks. 2 were successful. 1 was aborted when the target diverted before entering the kill zone. The sergeant has been with the platoon since Normandy. He is experienced. His men trust him. He has led them through 4 months of combat. He follows orders. He executes missions. He brings his men back. He does not hesitate. He does not question. He does what needs to be done. The flare pistol is loaded. The safety is off. His finger rests alongside the trigger. He watches the road. Army doctrine for ambush operations is clear. The commander selects the kill zone. Units position themselves to maximize surprise and firepower. The signal to initiate is predetermined. Upon signal, all elements open fire simultaneously. The objective is to destroy or capture the enemy force before it can organize a defense or withdraw. Speed and violence of action are paramount. The platoon has trained for this. They know their sectors. They know their fields of fire. They know not to fire until the signal is given. Premature fire compromises the ambush. Delayed fire allows the enemy to escape. Discipline is essential. The sergeant's signal is absolute. When the flare goes up, every weapon fires. When the flare does not go up, no weapon fires. The system is simple. It has worked before. It will work again. The machine gunners have their fingers on triggers. The riflemen have targets pre-selected. The bazooka team has ranged the center of the road. Every man knows his role. Every man is ready. They have been ready for hours. Waiting is part of the mission. Waiting is what soldiers do. The sergeant has fired the flare pistol twice before. Once during training in England, once during an ambush near St. L. Both times, the flare arced upward in a clean green streak. Both times, the signal was unmistakable. Both times, the men responded immediately. He knows the weapon. He knows its weight. He knows the pressure required to pull the trigger. He has rehearsed the motion in his mind. Raise, aim, fire. Simple. The first indication of movement comes from the east. A faint sound. Boots on dirt. Multiple sets. Regular cadence. The sergeant's grip tightens on the flare pistol. He does not raise it yet. He waits. The sound grows louder, closer. The men in the ambush line hear it too. Their breathing slows. Their muscles tense. Fingers move from trigger guards to triggers. The lead figure appears around the bend. Then another. Then another. They walk in single file. They are not running. They are not alert. They are simply walking. Rifles slung. Helmets low. Uniforms gray-green. Wehrmacht. The sergeant counts them as they enter the kill zone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11. They are in the center now. The optimal moment. The sergeant raises the flare pistol. His arm extends. The weapon points skyward at a 45-degree angle. His finger moves to the trigger. The sergeant does not fire. His arm is raised. The flare pistol is aimed. The soldiers are in position. The enemy is in the kill zone. Everything is ready. The moment is perfect. His finger does not move. The German soldiers continue walking. They do not see the Americans. They do not hear them. They walk at the same steady pace. 11 men in single file. Spaced 3 meters apart, they talk quietly among themselves. One laughs. Another adjusts his pack. They are not expecting danger. They are not prepared for contact. The sergeant's arm remains extended. The flare pistol does not waver. His hand is steady. His finger rests on the trigger. He does not pull it. The men in the ambush line wait. They watch the sergeant. They watch the enemy. They do not understand. The signal should have been given. The flare should have gone up. The firing should have started. But the sergeant's arm is still raised. The flare is still in the pistol. The silence continues. One of the German soldiers stops. He kneels. He adjusts his bootless. The others wait for him. They stand in the road, exposed, vulnerable. Perfect targets. The sergeant watches them. His arm remains raised. His finger remains on the trigger. He does not fire. The soldier finishes with his bootless. He stands. The column resumes walking. They move past the center of the kill zone. They begin to exit on the western side. The sergeant's arm slowly lowers. The flare pistol points at the ground again. His finger moves away from the trigger. No signal is given. The German soldiers disappear around the western bend. The sound of their boots fades. The road is empty again. The forest is silent. The ambush line remains frozen. The sergeant does not move. He stares at the spot where the soldiers were. His jaw is tight. His hand grips the flare pistol. He does not holster it. He does not signal the men to stand down. He simply remains in position, unmoving. The men do not know what to do. They have not been trained for this. The signal was not given. The ambush was not triggered. But the enemy has passed. The opportunity is gone. They remain in their positions because no order to move has been issued. They wait. They watch the sergeant. They wait for an explanation that does not come. One soldier shifts his weight slightly. His boot scrapes against a root. The sound is soft but audible in the silence. He freezes. No one reacts. The sergeant does not turn. He continues to stare at the road. Time passes. Minutes. The forest remains quiet. No more soldiers appear. No vehicles. No movement. Just the empty road and the trees and the light filtering through the canopy. The men begin to relax slightly. Fingers move away from triggers. Muscles unclench. But no one stands. No one speaks. The sergeant has not released them. A private on the southern line looks at the corporal beside him. The corporal shakes his head slightly. A silent instruction, stay in position. The private nods. He settles back into his fighting position. He watches the road. He waits. The machine gunner on the northern flank glances at his assistant. The assistant's eyes are questioning. The gunner shrugs almost imperceptibly. Neither speaks. They remain at their weapon. They wait. The sergeant finally moves. He holsters the flare pistol. He reaches for his rifle. He checks the chamber. He ejects the round and catches it. He inspects it. He reloads it. His movements are slow, deliberate. He does not look at his men. He does not signal them. He simply performs a function. Then he stops. He leans back against the oak tree. He closes his eyes for 3 seconds. He opens them. He looks at the road again. The men continue to wait. They do not question. They do not speak. They have learned not to. The sergeant will tell them what to do when he is ready. Until then, they wait. The sergeant had seen their faces, not clearly, not individually, but well enough. They were young, all of them, younger than his own men, younger than they should have been. Boys wearing uniforms that were too large, helmets that sat low over their eyes, boots that looked new. They walked without the caution of experienced soldiers. They talked among themselves without maintaining intervals. They stopped in the open to adjust equipment. They were not veterans. They were replacements, fresh from training depots, sent forward to fill gaps in depleted units. He had seen this before, in Normandy, after the breakout, German units falling apart, experienced soldiers killed or captured, replacements arriving with minimal training, boys who had been in school months earlier, handed rifles and sent to the front. They did not know how to fight. They did not know how to survive. They were simply ordered forward, and they obeyed. The sergeant understood what would happen if he fired the flare. 11 boys would die in seconds. The machine guns would cut them down before they could unsling their rifles. The riflemen would finish anyone who moved. The bodies would be searched. Their paybooks would be collected. Their identification discs would be removed. A report would be filed. The mission would be logged as successful. The war would continue. He also understood that letting them pass was a violation of orders. His mission was to interdict enemy forces. These were enemy forces, armed, uniformed, legitimate targets. Killing them was lawful, expected, required. His men were ready. The ambush was perfect. There was no tactical reason not to engage. But he had looked at them and seen children. Not soldiers. Not threats. Just boys who had been told to walk down a road, who had no idea they were about to die, who were laughing and talking as if they were on a training exercise, who would never know what killed them. The sergeant made his decision in the span of 2 seconds. He raised the flare pistol because doctrine required it. He aimed it because procedure demanded it. And then he chose not to fire. Not because it was right, not because it was merciful, simply because he could not. His finger would not move. His hand would not obey. He stood with his arm raised and watched the boys walk past and disappear, and he did nothing. He knew he might be questioned. He knew he might face consequences. He knew his men would be confused. He accepted all of it. He made his choice. He let them live. He lowered the flare pistol. The ambush did not close. The sergeant waited 30 minutes before signaling the platoon to withdraw. He used hand signals. No words. The men collapsed their positions quietly. They gathered their equipment. They moved back into the forest in pairs at staggered intervals. They regrouped at a rally point 500 meters north. The sergeant counted them. All present. No injuries. No contact. He led them east through the woods. They walked in tactical column. Spacing correct. Noise discipline maintained. They reached their base position by late afternoon. The platoon leader, a lieutenant, met them at the perimeter. He asked for a report. The sergeant said they had observed no activity. The road had been quiet. No targets presented themselves. The lieutenant nodded. He filed the report with company headquarters. No action. No contact. Routine patrol. The report was logged and forgotten. The men dispersed to their foxholes. They cleaned their weapons. They ate their rations. They did not discuss the ambush. They did not ask the sergeant why he had not fired. They knew better. Some things were not spoken about. Some decisions were not questioned. The sergeant had his reasons. That was enough. The sergeant sat alone near the platoon command post. He smoked a cigarette. He stared at the ground. The lieutenant approached and asked if everything was all right. The sergeant said yes. The lieutenant hesitated. He seemed about to ask another question. He did not. He walked away. The sergeant finished his cigarette. He crushed it under his boot. He lay down in his foxhole and closed his eyes. He did not sleep. The next morning, the platoon was ordered to move to a new sector. They packed their gear and marched south. The ambush site was abandoned. No unit replaced them. The road remained unguarded. The war moved on. The incident was not mentioned again. No after-action report documented the ambush. No intelligence summary noted the 11 German soldiers who passed through the area unmolested. No commendation was issued. No reprimand was filed. The sergeant's decision left no official trace. It existed only in the memory of the men who had been there and in the sergeant's own silence. The lieutenant suspected something had occurred. He had noticed the sergeant's expression when he returned. He had noticed the tension in the men. But he did not press. He trusted the sergeant. If the sergeant said there had been no activity, then there had been no activity. The lieutenant filed his report and did not look back. The men did not speak of it among themselves. Not that day, not later. Some had understood what happened, others had not. None felt the need to discuss it. The sergeant had made a call. They had followed. That was how it worked. Questions were not part of the equation. The 11 German soldiers who walked down that road never knew how close they had come. They reached their destination. They reported to their unit. They were assigned to defensive positions. Some may have survived the war. Some may have died in subsequent battles. Their fate is unknown. Their names are not recorded. They walked through an ambush that was set for them and never knew it existed. The sergeant never mentioned the incident in letters home. He never spoke of it after the war. His service record shows no gaps, no anomalies. He completed his tour. He was discharged. He returned to civilian life. The moment on the road remained locked inside him. It left no external mark. The sergeant returned to Ohio in 1945. He resumed his previous job at a machine shop. He married his girlfriend in 1946. They had 3 children. He attended church. He coached Little League baseball. He lived a quiet life. He did not join veterans organizations. He did not attend reunions. He did not speak about the war. His wife asked him once what it had been like. He said it had been like a job, hard work, long hours. He did not elaborate. She did not ask again. His children knew he had been in Europe. They knew he had been a sergeant. They did not know what he had done there. He never told them. He died in 1979 of heart failure. His obituary mentioned his service. It listed his rank and unit. It did not describe any specific actions. His family donated his uniform and some photographs to a local veterans museum. His personal papers contained no diary, no letters describing combat, no memoirs. The museum cataloged the items and placed them in storage. They have not been displayed. 3 men from the platoon survived the war and maintained occasional contact. They exchanged Christmas cards. They attended one reunion in 1950. The ambush was not discussed. One of them mentioned the sergeant's death in a letter to another in 1979. The letter said he had been a good leader. It said nothing more. That man died in 1983. The other died in 1991. The last surviving member of the platoon died in 2002. None left accounts of the incident. The road in northern France was paved in the 1960s. It is now a secondary route used by local traffic. The forest has been partially cleared for agriculture. The exact location of the ambush site cannot be determined. No marker exists, no memorial, no indication that anything significant occurred there. The 11 German soldiers, if they survived, returned to their homes. Their names are not known. Their units are not identified. They may have spoken of the war to their families. They may not have. They walked down a road in October 1944 and lived. They did not know why. No one told them. No one ever would. The dirt road is now asphalt. The trees have been replaced by fields. The villages at either end have grown. Traffic passes regularly. Farmers, commuters, tourists on their way to battle memorials further east. None stop. None know. The ambush that never closed exists in no official history. The sergeant who refused to signal left no explanation. The men who waited for an order that did not come carried the silence with them for the rest of their lives. The boys who walked through the kill zone never knew they had been spared. The moment passed. The war continued. The records are silent. What the sergeant felt when he lowered the flare pistol is not documented. What he believed about his decision is not recorded. Whether he regretted it or stood by it is unknown. He made his choice. He lived with it. He did not defend it. He did not justify it. It simply happened, and then it was over. The forest has changed. The road has changed. The men are gone. The war ended decades ago. The ambush site is farmland now. Crops grow where soldiers once lay in wait. The road carries traffic where boys once walked toward death and were allowed to pass. No evidence remains. No testimony survives. Only the absence. Only the silence. The flare was never fired. The signal was never given. The ambush never closed. 11 lives continued. No one knows their names. No one knows what became of them. They walked into history and out of it in the span of 2 minutes. The sergeant watched them go. He holstered the flare pistol. He led his men away. The road emptied. The moment ended. The silence remains.